And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the PondCast. PondCast episode 60. We just wrapped up with this week's news, and now we're here with tournament results. We're here to catch up on all the events that occurred over the past week. Let's go. As always, there are plenty of tournaments, and we will begin with our modded tournaments. Of course, the StarCraft Evolution Championship has been ongoing. We went over the round of 28 last week, and the round of 16 did occur last weekend. But to avoid some spoilers, because we are in the middle of casting that, we'll be going over the SC EVO results next week. Next week, we'll be going over those results, so do not worry. We'll be covering them then. For now, though, we're going to be jumping into something different, jumping into the Greener's Mod Jam 5K edition, not the first event of its kind. I mean, it is the first event when it comes to MMR restricted tournaments. Previously, it was open to all. Shout out to Greenert. Greenert is a Canadian player, a Canadian Zerg player. He often does off race, and I think he's Terran main, by the way. But Greenert, he did create his own mod, his own balance mod specifically. There's a lot of changes. A lot has been adjusted in regards to his mod. Likewise, Patches has done something similar as well. And they have been testing those changes and testing their mods with these tournaments. This one was restricted to those that are 5K and below. One of the reasons why both Greenert and Patches have started to do this is because some of the pro players out there don't really make use of the mod and don't really make use of the changes. Lower tiered players are more willing to be more exploratory, more willing to try out different things, and more willing to actually take advantage of some of the changes in the mod itself. So they have been leaning more towards restricting the MMR on these tournaments. Not just that, we even have a unique map pool as well. Very unique. Jesus. Meanwhile, shout out to Patches. Patches, he does actually win the event. He goes down to Greenert in the upper bracket finals, but does win the event 3-2 in the grand finals. So Patches comes out in first place, Greenert in second, Bonyo in third, and likewise, actually, all top six players did get paid out, so not bad. Got the feature players like Karoku, alongside Bonyo as well. Great to see, and Kasparos, players that we are familiar with here. So congratulations to Patches, and I hope they had a lot of fun. I hope they were able to get what they wanted out of the mod. I know that over time, both Greenert and Patches are adjusting their mod. They're taking feedback. They're looking at what changes work, what changes don't work, what they like, what they don't like, kind of refining their ideas and potentially even bringing these ideas forward to the greater community. So GG, well played. Love the initiative, and congratulations to Patches. Congratulations, and I wish them the best moving forward when it comes to their mod and when it comes to their tournaments. Heading on forward from here, we do have the Amateur League Weekly Series. Amateur League Weekly Tournament number 136. This is a weekly tournament that is restricted by MMR, and there are multiple tournaments for different MMR ranges. Up first, we have the Initiate Tournament. This is for those that are between the ranges or the leagues of Bronze and Platinum. Here we had Bendito. Bendito, he does take down Ragnar 3-1 in the grand finals. Looking down 2-0 previously to that. Took down DJ 2-1 before that as well. So a nice run here by Bendito, does take the win. Shout out to Ragnar for being very consistent when it comes to these tournaments. He's always there, always competing. Has even won some of these weeklies in the past. Here, comes out in second place. Regardless. GG, well played. And congratulations to Bendito. That leads us over into the veteran edition of our tournament. That leads us into the leagues between Diamond 3 and Diamond 2. Diamond 3 and Diamond 2. Here we have some players that we're familiar with. I do see Old Lady again. I see Pretty Fly as well. But a player that I'm unfamiliar with, Split does take down Balimko 2-0, Pretty Fly 2-0, and Balimko 3-0 in the finals. Very impressive performance there by Split. Does claim the win, doesn't drop a single map in the tournament. Congratulations to Split. That leads us into the Prestige tournament. This is for those between the leagues of Diamond 1 and Masters 2. So we just get higher and higher from here. Double elimination once again. We are missing some key players though. I don't see Dizzy Dwarf and I don't see Blade. Two very active players in this tournament circuit. Instead, we do have Steez. Steez, he takes down Blade of Fire 2-0. Does fall to Dark Blade 2-0. How many blades are there? What the? Does fall to Dark Blade in the upper bracket finals. But then he does come back in the rematch, and Steez, he takes down Dark Blade 3-1. Very impressive. Oh, is that a Neo that we know? That's a Protoss Neo. Is there another one? Oh my god. all the Neos, buddy, all the Neos. But congratulations to Steez for claiming another win. Has won some of these in the past, so congratulations, does claim another. Let's give him another. Meanwhile, big shout out to Luis GGG in the chat. Bienvenidos. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Hope you had a great time, and welcome. Bienvenidos. Welcome and all to the PondCast. Here we're catching up with all the tournaments of the week. We just wrapped up with our news section. That's already been concluded. And here we're jumping into the elite edition of this tournament, Masters 1 to GM. Once again, unfortunately, lack of signups here. As we mentioned in the past, these tournaments don't have a tournament. They don't have a prize pool. They don't have a monetary prize pool. So because of that, a lot of the pro players are less interested in playing in this. Instead, we do have Azura claiming a walkover win, as he was the only player to sign up. Congratulations to Azura for signing up, for showing up, but alas, unfortunately, no other competition in the GM section of that tournament. That leads us into Masters 1 Open. Masters 1 Open number 95. This is our monthly tournament for 4.7k players and below. And here we did have a returning legend, DeWalt. DeWalt, he is a Brood War Protoss player. He actually has tried to sign up for our events in the past, but never had the games for it. He doesn't ladder too much, but he finally was able to actually get some games in, compete in our tournament, and we saw him pop off. He was able to take down the Cos Phoenix 2-1 and take down Troy Galaxy 2-0 and Beast 3-1 as well. DeWalt does claim the win. Again, DeWalt, he's a legend when it comes to Brood War. In SE2, he's still rising through the ranks. He's still getting there. I mean, hey, he wins this event, so true, a big win here for DeWalt. And another second place for Beast. I was checking earlier, Beast, he has become a Kong of MSO. He has gotten so many second places. so many second places for Beast. But great to see him here at least. He wasn't in the initiate events, in the Amateur League weeklies, but he did compete in this tournament. Still did go down to DeWalt, though, in those finals. Regardless, well played, making it to top 2. GG, well played. That leads us into the Yamato Cup. Yamato Cup number 2. This is a tournament run by Killer B. We have spoken on Killer B in the past, a Polish caster. And this is the second edition. This is for players that are within the league or ranges of 5k MMR and below. So another event for amateur players. Here, a player that we're very familiar with, Matrix, who was able to take down Norim 3-1 in the rematch in the grand finals. Very impressive. There are players here that I'm familiar with. I do see Set, I see Bombsbomb, I see Wefuxus as well, Matrix, of course, Roman the Molds, some very Cosset, true, Cosset is there. So again, players that are very much so regulars, or at least have competed in our tournaments in the past, also facing off here as well. Great to see them again. Great to see them again playing and competing in another tournament. Congratulations to Matrix. Congratulations, does claim the win. That leads us over into the Passioncraft Emerging Styles number 30. This is for those that are within the MMR ranges of 5.5k MMR and below. And once again, Inexorable, not his first win, by the way. He's typically one of the top players in this event. Inexorably takes down Rake, takes down Toaster, and takes down Gref. Non-stop TVPs here for Inexorable. Takes down Gref 3-0 in the finals. Congratulations here to Inexorable. Well played. Well played. It does take down Gref 3-0. Gref, of course, a known cannon rusher. It's all he does, and that also hurts him a little bit in regards to how predictable he is as a player. So Inexorable at this point, I'm sure, is very familiar with Gref. That leads us into Sun Lake Cup. Sun Lake Cup number 2. This is a tournament run by Middle VK, and this was a multi-day event, if I recall correctly. It did take some time to actually go through this, to actually get the results. An insane amount of games. We were asked if we wanted to cover this event live, and I did mention that unfortunately at the time we had another event scheduled, so we didn't have the time to cover this. But look at the sheer amount of matches. That is insane. Round robin, best of 2, of course, all games played. So many matches between these 8 players. So round robin, of course, a lot of games were played, and in the end, it was only the round robin group. Bear that in mind. There was no like playoff bracket or anything like that. In the end, we had Skillis. He came out on top with 4 wins under his belt. 4 wins alongside a better map score. Actually, let me have a look here. Looks like he did drop some maps here to Strange, drop some maps to Art, drop some maps to Nickract as well. Okay, so again, there was some competition here, but overall, Skillet, he was able to come out on top. Just below him was Strange. No surprises there. Again, we do rate Strange quite highly when it comes to the CIS region. Does come out in second place. Wayne coming out in third place with a 7-7 scoreline. Strange came out with 10-4, and they were the top three. Top three did get into the prize money here. Actually, sorry, all players were able to earn something for their troubles, but they were the top three players. Below them, we had Nickrat, then followed by Shameless, Gigi Machine, Milky Cow, and Art. Oh boy. Honestly, it was a pretty hefty lineup. Pretty hefty lineup here. We're missing players like Young Yakov, for example. Would have been great to have seen some Young Yakov action. But regardless, really impressive here. And honestly, I'm really impressed by Wayne's performance. Wayne has been struggling. He has been struggling as of late. We've been seeing him drop maps and series to Strange, to Nickrack, to Shameless as well. So Wayne he's had a bit of a rocky kind of couple of months. But really good result here for Wayne. Getting top 3. Very impressive. GG, well played. Now, shout out to MiddleVK. Again, this is becoming a more regular tournament. The format here is very different to the first edition. It looks like this is more for fun. Like every now and then, Middle, he'll run this event, he'll have a unique format, and he'll send it. He also, of course, does run the Firegrow Cup, but whenever there's no Firegrow Cup, he's been running the Sunny Lake Cup, which has its own unique format, its own unique setup here. Invitational. It is an invitational. So really cool to see. Of course, we covered the first edition. We didn't cover this one, and Jesus, I'm just daunted by the amount of games that were played. It's crazy. That leads us into the Copa Picks 2025. Interesting. This is a Brazilian tournament run by Eximius Gaming. Eximius Gaming, of course, I would say they are the biggest Brazilian StarCraft II team currently. They have got a lot of players. And speaking of, they do feature some of them here. It looks like this event might have been a little bit restricted. Hold on, just double checking here. Just because of the players that did compete, we are missing a lot of the top regulars when it comes to the Brazilian scene. So I'm curious as to the format here. Here we go. So this is MMR restricted. It probably should be in the format. But this event is restricted to players with an MMR of around 4K. So this is MMR restricted to around, it's not a hard restriction, but like slightly below and slightly above 4K MMR. That's why we're not seeing an Inexorable or Master or Kamikaze or Dorminoko, for example. All the GMs, all the top players are not eligible to compete in this tournament, as this tournament is more MMR restricted. So in the end, we had a Claw. Claw took down Mafra 2-1, took down Krast 3-0. Krast is a player that I'm unfamiliar with. We've casted Claw before, we've casted Mafra before, Vitorino as well. I do see him earlier in the bracket, but I do notice some players that, again, I'm unfamiliar with. Some players that I've never seen before in some of these tournaments and some of these brackets, but looks like they're more, amateur players, more diamond players, seeing an opportunity to compete. And really cool to see Krast performing well, making it to the finals. GG. GG, well played. I don't know if they're going to host more of these in the future. The prize pool was actually quite hefty for this. I hope they do. It's a really good way to kind of foster the scene, foster growth. It looks like there are a lot of active, 4K players, around 4K players in the Brazilian scene, so it'd be really cool to see them compete on a more regular basis. So wish them the best. That leads us into the Rookie Warpgate Invitational 2025 Summer Edition. Rookie Warpgate, of course, that is a Chinese team, a clan/team. We actually saw them compete in the Chicken King Team League, if you recall. But looks like here they are running their own Invitational, run and organized by Pioneer. Pioneer is also a player that we have casted in the past, I believe a Terran player. But looks like this might be also a little bit more restricted. Looking at the signups here, I don't notice any other. I see Pioneer playing. The organizer, he played in the tournament himself. Of course he did. I'll be honest, in my mind, Pioneer, he's probably one of the more notable players here, and he does perform quite well, but he goes down in the semifinals. And we have a Terran player, actually. Let's see. Google Translate. Terran player does take the win. His name translating to Shen does claim the win here over, oh boy, over Janpan Maldunai. Keyboard poison milk is what it translates to. That might be like too literal of a translation. Maybe it's like keyboard poison, keyboard venom. I think something like that is probably like the ID. But regardless, congratulations to Shen for claiming the win 4-0 over his opponent. Apparently, this was an invitational, from my understanding. Apparently, there wasn't like a qualifying process for this, so interesting. I don't know how the players were invited, but regardless, really cool to see a big event like this. I say big event because it had an entire group stage, then into playoff bracket as well. A lot of work would have been put into running the event itself, so shout out to Pioneer. Shout out to Pioneer. Running an event like this is not easy. Not easy at all. A lot of players to keep track on, a lot of players to keep track of, a lot of matches to keep track of as well. So GG, shout out to Pioneer, and congratulations to Shen for claiming the win, for being the rookie Warpgate Summer Champion. GG, well played. That leads us into the Sunrise Cup 213. This is a weekly open tournament. I say weekly tournament. It's a weekly tournament for the Chinese scene, for the Chinese player base. And this week, we typically have players like Cholo Loves performing quite well. But I do notice something. There was no Oriana this week. Not this week. There was another player that's kind of going over my head a little bit here. Nanami, that's it. Nanami Chiaki. Nanami Chiaki has been winning a lot of these in recent times. Likewise with Tsukinu Deer as well, but they are not here. Not this time. Instead, we have a Terran player, Chinese Terran player. It is Millennium Fox. Okay, Millennium Fox does claim the win 3-2 over Night Stalker. Really impressive. And again, a lot of the bigger notables weren't here this time. Jollywood Loves. Jollywood Loves was. He got knocked out early, but again, there was no Nami, there was no Oriana. I want to say that recently Lemon was competing in one of these as well. But here they're not available, they're not competing, and instead we do have Millennium Fox claiming the win. Congratulations, a clutch 3-2, a clutch best of 5 in those finals. GG, well played. That leads us into the Legacy Weekly Japan. This is a weekly tournament for Japanese players. This is the Prospect Edition. Remember, the Prospect Edition is for those that are up and coming. If you had recently won a Legacy Weekly, you would be ineligible to compete in the Prospect Tournament. And here we have Deadly Kitten. Deadly Kitten, who we have seen actually around in some of these events in the past, does take down Crimson 2-1. Big win for Deadly Kitten. And fun fact, Crimson was the only player to take a map off of Deadly Kitten. So it's a little bit unfortunate that they face off so early on. Like, I rate Crimson quite highly. He streams a lot. I think we've rated him a couple of times. But Crimson does stream a lot. Alas, Deadly Kitten takes down Crimson, takes down his next couple of opponents, Hidekuri and Noah Shirayuki. Congratulations to Deadly Kitten. Congratulations, GG, well played. Does win this week's Legacy Weekly Japan. That leads us into this week's OSC tournament. So this week there was no Rising Star. It looks like we had a bit of a week off in regards to the Rising Star tournament. So there was no update in regards to that event, but we did have the OSC King of the Hill 223. Here we had a crazy event. We were fortunate to be the casters of this event this week, and we did have a tournament here where we didn't really have many long win streaks. It happens every now and then. Sometimes you have like one win, and players, they just constantly trade back and forth. Sometimes you have one dominant player that goes on a massive win streak. Here wasn't quite the case. Here, initially, we had the admin versus the caster. Bob Lemoche, he is a French caster. Cavalier, that is Eddie. He is the event organizer. He's the owner of OSC. They face off in the first round. Eddie was able to claim the win. It was really nostalgic casting and seeing Eddie compete again after many, many years. It's great to see him once again. But then he went down to GG Machine. GG Machine, he went on a short win streak, took down Eddie, took down MinoVK, took down Moja. 3 wins in a row. And then Lemon came out of left field. Lemon, he has been competing in these for the past 2 weeks. He's a newer addition to the OSC Elite Club, so it's really cool to see more Lemon. Lemon, he's a great player. He competed as Zerg and Terran in the past. Now he's competing as Protoss, and he is the best player in all of Taiwan right now. He has kind of taken that mantle from Haas and from Nice in years past. Lemon has taken like kind of that mantle, and he's been performing quite well. Takes down GG Machine, takes down Sebestus, takes down Nick Rat. Really nice wins, really big names going down here to Lemon, at least in the European scene. Lemon gets 3 wins, and then he goes down. So GG Machine, he got 3. Lemon got 3. Then Percival comes in, takes down Lemon, takes down Sig, takes down Cristiano, gets 3 wins, and then also knocked out again. So 3 wins, 3 wins, 3 wins. Percival goes down to Creator. Creator, he comes out of nowhere, he comes out of left field, takes down Percival, takes down Shameless, Geralt, takes down Björn. That was a spicy match 14, if I recall correctly. That was a very intense, very aggressive game. I want to say they played on Last Fantasy. Yeah, they played on Last Fantasy, which is a rare sight. I remember that Björn, he actually had a lead. Björn, he got a lot of economic damage early on. He took a lead, and then Björn was passive. Björn, he kind of left Creator alone. Creator, he was able to stabilize. He caught back up and one massive fight. I say one massive fight. Basically, Björn, he lost like 2 drops consecutively. He lost an army on the right, lost an army on the left, and then bam, Creator, he went straight for the kill, straight down the center, and Creator overwhelmed. He just overwhelmed. He punished. He capitalized on Björn overextending, and Creator took a crazy game there on Last Fantasy. And he gets the final win over Nightmare. So big win there for Creator. He's the first player in this tournament to get more than 3. He was able to stabilize. He was able to gain 5 wins. And Creator is this week's King of the Hill. Congratulations. Congratulations here to Creator. Very well done. Really well earned as well. Not easy, as he has to take down both Björn, Nightmare, and again, Percival and Geralt as well, and Shameless. Like some really, really strong opponents towards the end of the broadcast. Creator took them all down. GG, well played. So really solid performance there. That leads us into the, and again, that's like a best of 1 OSC King of the Hill style format. Weekly tournaments, always great to see, as this style of tournament is very rare nowadays. Very, very rare. That leads us into LiuLi Cup weekly number 3. Again, this is a new weekly open tournament that is leading into a monthly finals. Remember that the monthly finals are right around the corner. I believe actually this is the last weekly before the August finals. So that's going to be the big invitational that we can actually go through, as I believe we have confirmed players. But for now, when it came to this weekly, we had quite a lot of PvP, if you recall. We had a Showtime. Showtime took down Shin 2-1. Big win there for Showtime. That was the longest series. That was a lot of late game. We were lucky enough to cast up, but there was a lot of late game between Shin and Showtime. That was like an hour long best of 3, if not more than an hour long. By the time we finished that, I think Hero was already in the semis. I think he was already waiting. It was like, oh my god. Then we had Classic versus Showtime. Despite Showtime's big win, Classic was able to bring down Showtime 2-1 in the PvP. Very short series, a lot of all-ins. Classic, he's been going for a lot of 1-base all-ins in recent times. Takes down Showtime, then he does fall to Hero. Hero popping off. Hero takes down Rogue, takes down Classic 2-1, and then faces off against MaxPax in the finals. And it was a very intense back and forth, went all the way to the ace match. We have been speaking about this quite a lot as of late, but MaxPax has reinvented himself, specifically in PvP. MaxPax, he has now improved. I would say that PvP maybe was his weakest matchup this year for the majority of 2025, but has recently started to be more versatile in PvP, has been cheesing a lot more, has been going for 2-gate all-ins. It has been more rare to see MaxPax go for the quote-unquote MaxPax opener of a more economic start. He's done with that. He's been more aggressive, and he has found a lot more success in that aggression, as MaxPax took down Solar, Cure, and Hero in this tournament. Big wins here for Solar. Sorry, for MaxPax. Big wins for MaxPax, as it takes down a top Korean Zerg, Terran, and Protoss respectively. Went all the way to the ace match against both Solar and Hero, but still a very strong performance. So again, MaxPax is very much so in form. Very much so in form. That leads us into KSL, the Korean StarCraft League weekly number 79. This is a weekly tournament open to all, but at a more Korean-friendly time. Here, despite that, we had some NA representation. It was really cool to see both Nina and Estrella competing in this tournament. Also, we should fix this bracket because Nina did not play Protoss against Triple, and I believe didn't play Protoss against Classic either. Nina was playing Zerg. Nina, she has been streaming a lot of Zerg as of late, and did also, because she's been streaming so much Zerg, did compete as Zerg as well. So I want to say that Nina played Zerg against both. I know that she played it at least against Triple. Pretty sure she played it against Classic as well. So we did have non-stop Zerg there out of Nina, not Protoss, so we'll have to fix that up. Meanwhile, we did have a Hero. Hero took down Perm 2-1, went to the ace match. That also has to be changed. Who made this Wikipedia page? God damn it. Nina was not the only one off-racing. Hero also off-raced. So Prome did not take a map off of Hero's Protoss, Prome took a map of Hero's Terran. Hero did off-race his Terran against Prome, but it's a little bit more complicated. Hero, he played game 1 with Terran, did win. Played game 2 with Terran, he lost, and then game 3, Hero played Protoss. Hero did switch to Protoss for the final game to make sure he won that series. He got a little bit shaky, he got a little bit scared by Prome, did force him to play his main race, so there was some race switching happening in that series. But then Hero, he 2-0'd Beyond and 3-0'd Cure. Hero, he is looking very, very in form as of late. We saw him go down to max packs earlier, but it went all the way to the ace match. Here, doesn't drop a map with his Protoss. Does drop a map with his Terran. So GG well played. Shout out to Kira. Kira took down Percival, took down Classic as well. Kira also looking in form. But Hero, he is a beast, and he is typically the champion of KSLs. Like, KSLs are where he thrives. Oh, it's a big win there for Hero. That leads us into the CSO Cup. CSO Cup number 85. Another weekly open tournament or semi-regular open tournament. Here we did have Björn. Björn, he, as we mentioned before, talking about RSL, Björn is one of those grinders that plays in everything he can. Plays in everything he can. I mean, hey, he played in KSL. Here, he doesn't drop a map. Takes down Shu, takes down Replicant, takes down Jumi 3-0. Again, Björn, he does go to town. He does claim all these wins. Shout out to Jumi for making it here to the finals, but alas, Björn does claim it in the end. Björn does claim it. GG well played. That leads us into, and shout out to CSO. CSO, they are an esports team. They used to have a bigger roster, but nowadays I think they're focusing more on content creation. You can see here that Replicant is representing CSO, for example. And I want to say they have a couple of other players as well. But again, they've been running this on a semi-regular basis, and really cool to see them continuing to run, continuing to cast, continue to do as much as they can for the scene. Big shout out to CSO. Big shout outs. Leads us into Sparkling Tuna Cup. Sparkling Tuna Cup number 103. This was our weekly tournament, and I'll be honest, there were some surprising results here. We did have the return of Ashbringer. If you remember, Ashbringer, it has been a long time since he's competed. I would always kind of mix up Ashbringer and Exo Striker. I would always mix them up whenever we would cast them, as they would often play together in like King of the Hills and OSC King of the Hills and other online open cups. But quickly double checking here, I want to say that Ashbringer hasn't competed in a year. I want to say around a year. Let me just double check. But Ashbringer, it's been a very, very long time since he's been actively competing in these online tournaments, in these open cups. Ashbringer has been competing in regional events, specifically in like regional, more like Russian-centric tournaments. But when it comes to these more open cups, he used to be very active. Last time he played in these was, let's see, June 2024. So it's been over a year since he was, actively playing in OSC King of the Hills, Sparkling Tuna Cups, ESL Open Cups, Bassless Big Bang Bulls, all these big tournaments, all these more regular events he used to compete in, again, over a year ago. Since then, since June of last year, he's just been playing in some like regional stuff here and there, but nothing open, not anymore. It's a bit of a shame. But he has kind of taken a step back in regards to competing until now. Like, this is his big return. Great to see. Takes down Hacker's top 2-0 and then faces off against Beyond. So a rough second round opponent. Björn takes down Ashbringer 2-0, takes down Creator 2-0 as well. Big wins there for Björn. Likewise, Solar took down Rebellion, took down Showtime in the semifinals. That was a very close series, by the way. Very close between Showtime and Solar. Went all the way to the ace match. And then we had the grand finals here. Grand finals between Björn and Solar. Björn, he was being a little bit cheeky in this tournament, not gonna lie, being a little bit cheeky when it came to his play, but Solar, he was looking solid, and I typically favor Björn against Solar. I do favor Björn against Solar. I do feel like Solar has been having a bit of a harder time as of late, so a big reason for that is because Solar went on vacation after EWC. Like, it took a break post EWC, so he's been recently returning, recently coming back, and has been looking a little bit rough around the edges, so I wasn't expecting him to beat Björn, to beat Showtime, let alone Björn, but Solar popped off. Really impressive play there. Congratulations. Solar is this week's big tuna. GG. GG, well played to Solar. Hold on, is this his first Tuna Cup win? I know he's played in a decent amount of them. Double checking. Second, okay. It is his second Tuna Cup. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Second Tuna Cup win. He's gotten second place a couple of times against Bjorn. But yeah, this is his second overall win. Congratulations. Congratulations to Solar. That leads us into the WardiTV Monday number 49. If you remember, it was this tournament which was played by the mass reporting that was going on tournaments, also on map makers. And it was this tournament where we actually had to use TLMC maps instead of LE maps because the ladder edition maps were removed from the game. So it was a bit of a shaky tournament, and there were some delays because of that, but we got around to it in the end. We were able to get through it. Here we did have Hero. He popped off. He took down Creator 2-0, took down Solar 2-0 as well. Solar once again 2-0's Bjorn. 2 days in a row. Remember, Tuna Cup was Sunday. WardiTV Monday was Monday. So yeah, nice wins there from Solar. 2 days in a row takes down Bjorn. Hero takes down Solar 2-0, and then Hero claims the win in the end. But not the most likely of opponents here. Showtime, I don't want to gloss over it. He popped off. Showtime, what did he do? He 2-1 Classic. He got his revenge. Remember, Classic did beat Showtime previously, I want to say in LiuLi Cup. So previously in the week, Classic did defeat Showtime. Here, Showtime gets his revenge. We were lucky enough to cast that. And Showtime doesn't play against MaxPax. He went down to Hearthstone. He had some crazy builds. We saw a lot of mind games. If you remember, we didn't get to cast game 1 or game 2, but we got into game 3, the ace match of Hearthstone versus MaxPax, and basically Hearthstone faked MaxPax out. MaxPax believed that Hearthstone was all-inning, so MaxPax was playing very safe. Hearthstone instead was expanding, was teching, was building up, and MaxPax, he fell behind. He fell behind, just overreacting to his opponent, overreacting to Hearthstone, and in the end, Hearthstone was able to take MaxPax down in the mid game after claiming a big lead, after having a really big economic lead. In the end, Hearthstone, he wasn't punished. I think he killed the first Oracle, like he shut down the attempted harass. He defended really well against the Adepts. He just snowballed into a win from there. Hearthstone, he got ahead, he stayed ahead, he got further ahead, and took down MaxPax. It was really impressive play there by Hearthstone. It was a little bit short-lived because Showtime took him down, but again, still really impressive play against MaxPax nonetheless from the captain. So very nice performance there by Hearthstone. Because of that, Showtime was able to advance onto the semis over Hearthstone instead of MaxPax, for example. I mean, Showtime has been MaxPax before, but I'm sure he was content that he didn't have to play him then. And likewise, Showtime took down Clem. Big win there for Showtime. Solo play as well. He shut down Clem. Clem was trying to be cheeky, trying to be aggressive. In the end, Showtime was able to surpass him, and in the end went down to Hero. So may not have won the tournament, but hey, he took down Clem. Took down Clem and Hearthstone and Classic. So really solid performance there from Showtime. May not have won, but achieved a lot to make it to the finals. With that, congratulations to Hero. That leads us into the Roddy All Random Finals. Roddy, he has been running these random tournaments where players have to play random. There's a lot of RNG that comes into play here, and I believe this featured all the top players. It does invite all the top random players from the randoms, or from the events done, or hosted previously, I should say. And here we had Rainer. Jumi, I was actually looking forward to see Jumi compete here, and Jumi, he played really well. He took down Ledlix, took down Spirit, but did fall to Rainer in the ace match in the upper bracket finals, and Jumi then fell to Lambo. Lambo also has some really strong random, just because Lambo plays a lot of Protoss and Zerg. Like Lambo, he has some really strong Protoss and Zerg. His Terran, I want to say, is Lambo's weakest link. It's his weakest kind of race to play with, but hey, did not land on Terran in that series against Jumi. Played Protoss and Zerg instead, so Lambo did pop off, and then we had the grand finals. The grand finals here, and this is telling us to what I just mentioned. Lambo, his Protoss and Zerg are solid, his Terran is not. And as you can see, Lambo, he won game 1 with Protoss, he won game 2 with Zerg, then game 3, landed on Terran, lost the game. Game 4, landed on Terran, lost the game, lost the game as well. Then in the ace match, landed on Protoss, but Rainer landed on his main race. So again, it's just all RNG. It's all RNG in regards to what you land on, what your opponent lands on. Rainer, he rolled the dice well, landed on Zerg for the finals, for the ace match, and won it in the end. Congratulations here to Rainer. He does win it in the end. The Gamba was real. The Gamba was solid. Even won the TBT against Lambert. So really impressive. And congratulations to Rainer for being the most random player. Congrats. Congratulations. His reward is that he gets to play in the Rift. God damn it. He's off lost in the Rift, papi. Yeah. That leads us into the Biggest Cup number 46. Unfortunately, we weren't able to cover this event. We were slated to, but unfortunately, I was just unavailable. I was just very, very worn out. Haven't been feeling the most amazing as of late, the most in form. So we did not cast this event. But regardless, Jesus, non-stop PvT. Non-stop PvT. Typically, we have like one token Zerg player that gets knocked down in the round 16, at least. Not this time. Jesus. So we did have Estrella. Estrella takes down Bjorn 2-1. Big win there for Estrella. Their Max Angel, very impressive. Takes down Bjorn. If you remember, I spoke about this when we were discussing the RSL group about how Estrella, his best matchup is PvT. But in his group, he has no Terran. He has no Terran opponents. I was again just really unlucky when it comes to the group drawing for Estrella. And you can see here like how good his PvT is. Takes down Bjorn. Does lose to Clem, but Clem is the best Terran in the world. There's no shame in getting 3-0'd by Clem. So again, really impressive. I mean, again, give Estrella, Bjorn, Gumiho, Cure, like Estrella, he can pop off. Unfortunately, went up against Clem. Clem takes him down 3-0. And in the grand finals, we had Hero. Hero takes down Mute 2-0, takes down a Cure 3-1, and takes down Clem 3-0 in the finals. Again, Hero, he is in form. I think a lot of people do overlook Hero just because, I mean, technically, Classic had a better performance, had a better tournament result at EWC, but as we were trying to emphasize at the time, Hero, he never really got to play his games. Like he made a post afterwards talking about how he felt like he never really got to show his builds at EWC. He never had the opportunity to. He felt very very lacking. He felt very unfulfilling just because he didn't really get to show his best at EWC. And you're seeing it here in these now off-season matches, 3 over Clem, and likewise 1 against Showtime previously as well. GG. Solid performance there by Hero. Congratulations. Clem, of course, I should also emphasize, he has been on vacation. After EWC, he went to Croatia, I think. He went on a vacation to Croatia. So Clem, he took some time off. So Clem, he's also kind of like, a little bit rusty, a little bit rough around the edges. He's also kind of like getting back into the swing of things. So great to see more of Clem. Great to see more of him because we have been missing him the past couple of weeks because he has been on holiday. He has been on holiday, but he is back. Speaking of being back, I believe we have wrapped up. Oh, not quite. We are in the middle of the WardiTV Summer Championship, and I believe that they are currently running the event as we speak. So we actually have some updates as the event is ongoing. But heading on down, we did wrap up the group stage. Did we go over the final results? We did not. So I think we were in the middle of Group C at the time. So quickly wrapping up Group C, in the end, we had Hero and Zan making it through Group C. Bunny and Solar did get knocked out. I did mention, if you recall, that Solar's been having a bit of a harder time as of late, which is why I was really impressed and surprised that he beat Bjorn in the finals of Tuna Cup. And even had a better performance as well in the other Open Cups. But here, Solar did struggle. Likewise, Bunny goes down to Zan. That might be telling as to what's going to occur at RSL. Might be. That also leads us to Group D. In Group D, this we didn't have results on, but we did predict Classic and Nightmare. Classic and Nightmare, they do advance on. Spirit and Percival do get knocked out. Actually, I think I want to say that I wanted to give Percival like a good chance to make it through, but alas, he doesn't. Did take some maps, but still did go down to Spirit. Likewise, actually, Spirit and Nightmare went all the way to the ace match. Really cool to see. It barely went in favor of Nightmare. Nightmare, we spoke about this previously. He recently returned from retirement. So Nightmare, he has been slowly rising the ranks, and Nightmare is one of those players that your eyes should be on when it comes to his rate of improvement over the next couple of weeks. Sorry, next couple of months. So over the next couple of months here, I'm really excited to see how far Nightmare can go. How strong can he perform, and how again how much he will grow over the course of the next year. We'll see. My eyes are on Nightmare. That leads us into the playoffs. Into the playoffs here, we did have our top players. We had Clem, and Clem takes down Nightmare 3-0 despite Nightmare's growth. Again, Clem, he is still best Terran in the world. Takes down Nightmare 3-0. Max takes down 3-0. Ooh, a lot of 3-0s in the first round. Hero takes down Beyond 3-0, and Classic takes down Cure 3-0. Unfortunately, there is a bit of a, I almost want to say class disparity here. Clem, Maxpax, Hero, Classic, these are the best players in the world when it comes to their respective races. I think most would agree when it comes to top 3 Protoss in the world, Hero, Classic, Maxpax. They are the top 3 Protoss players in the world. Hero and Classic being the top 2 offline Protoss players, and then you include Maxpax when you talk about online Protoss play. Clem takes out MaxFax 3-1, doesn't advance on to the upper bracket finals. Classic takes down Hero 3-1. Very impressive play there by Classic. Does win the PvP, and the upper bracket match is going to be taking place later tonight. Later, it looks like tonight they're going to be crowning the champion. Okay, so tonight they're going to be wrapping this up. So Clem and Classic, they're slated to play soon. Actually, I think they're starting. I think they're about to start. Scrolling down, we did have Nightmare. Nightmare took down Zown. That's actually quite impressive. I would rate Zown above Nightmare at the moment, just because Nightmare's been gone for so long. So really nice win there for Nightmare. Kira takes down Bjorn. I do rate Kira's TVT higher than Bjorn's for sure. Hero takes down Nightmare. Hero does advance on to lower bracket finals. MaxPax 3-0's Cure, and then MaxPax 3-0'd Hero. That's a really impressive win there for MaxPax. Last time they played, it went all the way to the ace match, but as we tried to emphasize previously, MaxPax specifically has been improving and has been working on his PvP. So I do actually like his chances against Hero and Classic if he plays against them. If he plays against Clem, the Clem is going to be a little more comfortable, a little more potentially even favored there against MaxPax. Unfortunately, we don't get a Hero versus Clem rematch. Remember, Hero, he 3-0'd Clem not too long ago in the weeklies. It would have been cool to have seen them have a rematch here. Not going to be the case there. They do miss each other. They do not play. Instead, Clem has to worry about Classic and MaxPax instead. My predictions for this here, who do I favor? Classic versus Clem is a tough one, to be honest. That's a tough one to call. I favor Clem over MaxPax. I feel like Clem versus Classic should be a closer series. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to the ace match. When it comes to Classic versus MaxPax, do I rate MaxPax's PvP higher than Classic? I think I might. Like, specifically because MaxPax has been working on his PvP, he's been looking really, really impressive. I think MaxPax has a better chance against Classic than against Clem. But I also think Classic has a better chance against Clem than against MaxPax. Like, so there's almost like a rock, paper, scissors kind of thing going on between these three players. And that's going to determine who's going to be the two finalists as well. I think the safe bet is that Clem. I think maybe Clem probably has the best chance to win the entire event and to be our champion. But I can see a world where Classic beats Clem, and then Clem beats MaxPax, then Classic beats Clem again. Like, I can see that happening for sure. But I think the safe bet is probably Clem. I think Clem is probably the safe bet to take it all. Regardless, best of luck. Best of luck to our players. If Clem beats Classic, I see MaxPax making it to the finals, and then I see Clem beating MaxPax in the finals as well. So regardless, best of luck. Again, this is going to be taking place over on Wardi's channel. They are currently mid-series, and this event is going to be wrapped up tonight. So best of luck. Best of luck to all the players. GG. Also, big shout out to iStan. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing for 32 months. Crazy, baby, crazy. GG. Wait, Clem TVT versus Nickrat? That might be. There's been a lot of like misreported races in these Wikipedia pages. It would not surprise me if Clem did not play Terran against Nickrat. It's just default because Clem is Terran. So this is in regards to Pikachu Cup number 46. It wouldn't surprise me if Clem did play Protoss there, but maybe no one casted it, so there's no accurate reporting on it. So I'm pretty sure he 2-0'd Nickrat with Protoss, but we can try to find out. We can try to like sift through some VODs and try to figure out what happened there. We'll do our best. We'll do our best. New viewer here. Love your content. iStan. True. New viewer. But with that is going to be wrapping up our events for the week. Again, quite a lot of open cups as always, some regional events, some MMR restricted tournaments as well, and even some new tournaments that we're seeing for the first time. And best of luck to the winner, to the players in the Summer Championship. If you want to play in some of these tournaments, if you want to take part, even if you're an amateur player, even if you're not a pro player, then you can sign up for a lot of these tournaments and you can compete against some of the top players in the world just for some fun, just to take part and be a part of the scene, the community, the tournament structure. You can do so with !! sign up list. Here we go. We do see that the K Cup, I don't know if the K Cup is still, I don't know if that's still happening, by the way. But the K Cup is meant to be in a day's time. Whether that does unfold, yet to be determined. I know that Kanoya did mention how he was going to be postponing the K Cup and the K Cup Championship. So I don't think this is going to be happening, but if it does, the signups are there for tomorrow. We have code for Giants Cup. Ooh, that's in a day's time as well. Okay, so that's also in a day in a day and a half. We have the 5K, the 4.5K Clash. We have Sunrise Cup as well. We have code for Giants Cup Latam. That's going to be in 3 days. We have WardiTV Monday. We have Sparkling Tuna Cup. We have all of our regular tournaments. All of our regular tournaments, they're all available there if you want to take part. Not just our tournaments, but tournaments in general. Open sign-up specifically. So it's all there, all available to you. So again, you can take part. Likewise, if you want to support us here on the CranKy Ducklings, you can do so via Patreon, !Patreon in the chat, and you'll get a link to our Patreon page. Again, all the money on Patreon currently goes towards players. It all goes towards the tournaments that we run, specifically Sparkling Tuna Cup, Duckling Open, and Master Swan Open as well. It is all funded via Patreon. If we can get our next goal after this one, that's when we can start paying admins and paying casters. But up until this point, all that money goes towards the players. It all goes towards tournament prize money. So you can support and help us grow our tournaments even further and bring more players in. So you can help us out via Patreon if you wish. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Again, we are live every single week with a PondCast. We do plan on moving the PondCast to another day soon, just so we don't clash with other events. As there's a lot of tournaments around the corner. RSL is going to be starting soon, of course. We have Miscellanous of the Game that's right around the corner. We have the Stellar Fest, the newly announced Stellar Fest. We have Safe House as well. There's a lot of StarCraft on the horizon here as always, and we'll do our best to bring you all that news and cast as much of it as we can as well. When it comes to our next broadcast here on the CranKy Ducklings, we should be live in around 12 hours. In 12 hours time, we should be live with the StarCraft Evolution League Championship Round of 16, Group D. We're going to be live with Group D, the final group of the Round of 16. We also have the LiuLi Cup monthly finals that evening. We have code for Giants Cup over the weekend. We have Duckling viewer replays, Masters of the Game, and much more content. It's all there. It's all over the weekend, and of course throughout the course of the week as well. So do consider following. If you enjoyed the content, if you enjoy the casting, do consider following us here. And whether it's here on Twitch, whether it's on TikTok, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on Instagram, Discord, or YouTube, check out our YouTube channel. All the VODs are all on YouTube, all on a daily basis. Thanks for watching. A special shout out as well to Kuro. Kuro, of course, does run the PondCast, does make sure that everything runs as smoothly as possible, does handle the production side of things. So big shout out to Kuro. Thank you so much. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your night. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. We could raid Wardy. Wardy, he's running, of course, the Summer Championship, but we usually try to raid smaller streamers. And Nightmare is live, so we could give Nightmare some love, or we could just raid Wardy. We'll find someone. We'll find someone to send everyone over to. Best of luck. Best of luck. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for StarCraft Evolution, or we'll see you next week for the next PondCast. See you then. See you then.